Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about a concept that's been thrown around in the fitness industry called carb cycling. This is just one of the many methods you can use to cut calories in a way that's sustainable, effective. By sustainable, I mean you're able to adhere to changing your carbs from high to medium to low throughout the week for the duration of a cut period or a shredding phase. People may misinterpret the term carb cycling as meaning you eat low carbs for one day, high carbs another day, and then go back to low carbs arbitrarily. There is a reason for having low carbs, medium carbs, and high carbs on certain days of the week. The basis of carb cycling is to use carbs when you feel is necessary. So if you train 4 times a week heavy and you have 2 lighter days and 1 rest day a week, which add up to 7 days a week, then for 4 days, which are your heavy days, you want to eat the most or highest number of carbs you can possibly eat to help you maintain or lose fat throughout the week. The reason you want your most calories on those days is so that you can maintain performance, maintain fullness, have glycogen for those heavy days so you can train and perform your best. So this in turn will help you retain muscle or lean body mass throughout the cut. Because a lot of times if you don't eat enough, you won't perform as well and you're more likely to lose muscle or lose strength, which might make you lose muscle in this process. Regardless, when you cut, you're going to lose some form of lean body mass. It's just the reality of it. From my experience, I think that I've been able to gain muscle over this process, maybe because I'm still experiencing new gains, or that carb cycling really does work, and that I want everyone to know about it because I'm so excited about my experiences with it. But we distribute the majority of our carbs, around 70% of them, towards your heavy days. Now we have 30% of our total carbs left. So we want the majority of the leftover carbs to go towards our lighter days, like let's say arms and abs and cardio. Take those carbs and distribute it amongst the rest of the light days that you have. So if you have 2 lighter days, then divide the number of carbs you have left by 2. So then you have that number of carbs for those 2 days. And then the rest of the carbs will go towards your rest days. In this case, we have 1 rest day, so we have 1 left. So let's use some concrete numbers. So I have written down my caloric needs for the entire week. So let's say I'm 5'11", 23 years old, male, and I train 6 days a week with 1 rest day. With this information, I'm able to calculate my total daily energy expenditure, which is TDEE. That is how many calories I need to basically maintain my body weight. This is different from BMR, which is basal metabolic rate. That's just the number of calories you need to just live. So my TDEE is going to be way more than my BMR. So with this TDEE, I want to subtract the number of calories I need to burn per day for the week, so that I can lose 1 pound of fat, for example. If you're trying to lose half a pound a week, or 1.5 pounds a week, or 2 pounds a week, then you change the number for yourself. But in this case, we're going to burn 1 pound of fat per week. That means I need to be in a 500 calorie deficit per day for the week, which is 3,500 calories per week burned, which means I'm burning 1 pound of fat per week, which is 1 pound of weight loss. So if I take the number of calories I need to just maintain weight, which is 2,800, I need to subtract 500 calories from 2,800 to get the number of calories I need to burn 1 pound of fat a week, which is 2,300. So with this number of calories I need to burn 1 pound of fat a week, I distribute my fats, carbs, and protein to equate to that number of calories. So in this case, I'm going to start calculating my fats and my protein first. So to calculate my fats, I just take 20% of my TDEE and divide that by 9. So that would give me the number of fats I need to continue this cut, which is 2,800 times 20% divided by 9 is 62 grams of fat. So that's how many grams of fat I need to eat every day. I'm going to keep this constant. Same goes for protein. To calculate my protein, I just multiply my body weight in pounds by 1.2, or my body weight in kilograms by 2.5, depending on what your system is. So I'm going to take my body weight multiplied by 1.2. That's 175 times 1.2, since I weigh 175 pounds. And that would be around 290 grams of protein. I'll eat 290 grams of protein throughout the week, and the rest of the calories go towards carbs. So if I were not to do carb cycling, or in other words, just keep my calories the same throughout the week, which would mean I keep my carbs the same every day for the week, then I would be eating around 1,981 carbs throughout the week divided by 7, which is 283 grams of carbs per day for the week if I were not to use the carb cycling method. The problem with this, in my opinion, is that it doesn't make sense to eat the same number of carbs every day because on your rest days you're not doing anything. There's no need to eat that much food if you're just sitting around or just resting. Whereas you want to use the majority of your carbs on the days you're training really heavy so you can get performance and you get strength. Like, this is where budgeting your energy matters, especially when you're deep into a cut. If you're in a surplus, it really doesn't matter where or when you distribute your calories because you're always in a surplus. You always have energy in your fuel tank. So when you're not cutting, you don't need to be as precise, but when you're cutting, you need to really manage your budget wisely. So that's why I considered carb cycling just for this reason. The reason for doing carb cycling is that you can maintain performance just due to more energy in your body on those heavy days and lighter days. And it will encourage you to look forward to your high days since you basically have multiple refeeds. Let's just consider your heavy days as a refeed, And also with carb cycling, you pretty much know when your refeeds are as opposed to, I haven't had a refeed in a week, I should probably do it today. No, there is a sure way of knowing when your refeed is. Your refeeds are your heavy days. So, with that being said, you're going to be eating 70% of your total allotted carbs that will help you lose fat for the week towards your heavy days. 70%. So, with my number of carbs I need to eat per week, which is 1,981, I multiply that number by 70%. That will give me a certain number, and I'll divide that by 4 heavy days a week. So that way I distribute the 70% of my carbs for those 4 days, which comes out to 345 grams of carbs on my heavy days. For my lighter days, for example, my arms and abs days, 70% of the other 30% I didn't allot already. So what I would do to calculate this number is I would take 30% of my total carbs per week and then multiply that by 70%, which is the majority of the rest of the carbs. And then I would divide that by the number of light days I have, which is, I have 2 light days a week. So therefore, I take my total number of carbs, multiply that by 30%, multiply that by 70%, divide that by the number of light training days, which is 2, and that gives me 208 grams of carbs for my light days. And then for the rest days, I basically do the same calculation, except instead of doing 70% times 30%, I'll do 30% times 30% to get the remaining. So then I'll divide it by the number of rest days I have, which is 1, and that will give me my rest day carbs, which is 178. And with those numbers, I would basically just distribute those carbs on those days. So on my heavy days, I have 345 carbs to eat. On my light days, I have 208 grams of carbs, and on my rest days, I would have 178 grams of carbs. And if you add them up for the week, including my proteins and fats, I will get 16,121 calories. And if I divide that by 7, that is the number of calories I would be eating on average per day if I weren't carb cycling. So, if you took your non-carb cycling method and you got your carb cycling method and you got the same number, then you did it right. If you take the number of calories you need per day for the week to help you cut fat, compare it with the number of calories you need to cut fat without the carb cycling method, you'll find out they're pretty much the same number. So, in other words, this method should work theoretically, since you're going to be burning the same amount of fat per week. The only difference is the timing. And we're assuming that you're training heavy on certain days and you're training light on certain days and rest days. So, with that being said, it's going to help you maintain performance. You're going to have multiple refeedings, so therefore you have more energy in your system, and you're going to be fuller more often. And you're going to be psychologically happy since you're going to be maintaining, if not gaining strength in this process, and you'll be maintaining and retaining lean body mass, if not gaining lean body mass through this cut. I only recommend doing this if you're later into a cutting phase, since calories matter more towards the end of a cut since you have less of it to deal with. And this should work. From my experience, I've definitely seen a lot of progress. I've never seen this much fullness in my physique just from carb cycling in my entire life, and yes, I've only been implementing carb cycling for the last 12 weeks, but from my experiences, I really think it works, and I suggest you try it too. If you liked this video, please just download the template I have in the description, try it out for yourself, and implement it for a few weeks and see what it's like, and then let me know in the comments below if it worked. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Once again, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.